The final countdown. Does it get any cheesier than that? We shall see later on in the show. Anyway, I've got 40 minutes left to fill, so I better get on with it. Shout-outs. More shout-outs. Everyone loves the shout-outs. Shout-out to Strife from Wales. Welsh people. Shout-out to McLaughlin, as his guild Envy are having trouble doing the bosses in MC. Yep, I know the feeling. That's from Zid about the Kazakh thing. Make the heal a less amount. Blah, blah. Yes, anyway. Apparently, Zanzan Expo says he loves Jawbreaker. You win. Shout out to Dr. Spiffy and the Pen 15 crew. Obviously, they be illin. Anyway, let's get back on it. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned the idea of the Arathi Basin. And guess what? It's almost upon us, folks. I'm looking forward to this more than Zul'Gurub. Because maybe, finally, possibly, we might get something vaguely tactical that doesn't involve the stupid flag running or the stupid zerging in Warsong Gulch and Altarat Valley. We have a situation where you're going to have to defend 5 resource points with only 15 people. Now, anyone and that's played Battlefield 1942, Battlefield Vietnam, Battlefield 2 will know the scenario. The more flags you have, the more difficult it is to defend them. A very sensible way of doing things, because it means the battle can go either way. And it won't matter just how elite you are, how elite your gear is. You've left 3 people there, and send 5. And I'll annihilate you. And that's all about tactics. Do I split off a larger proportion of my force to take this outpost? Or do I play defensively, split it up 3-3-3? Do I zerg one outpost, zerg the next one? Try and zerg them all before they can get around and capture mine? An interesting theory. Arathi Basin excites me a lot, so much that a few weeks ago I did something called Battlefield Azeroth, which basically mocked the possibility of Battlefield 1942 being merged with World of Warcraft. I'm going to play that again before I discuss Arathi Basin a little bit more. So, for the second time, Battlefield Azeroth, as requested. Okay, men, listen up. Over the other side of that ridge lies an open desert plain with 3 outposts. We must capture all 3 outposts in order to drive our enemies back to whatever godforsaken country they came from. Yes, what is it, Jenkins? Sir, isn't this their godforsaken country? Yes, I do that, of course. Anyway, this is the plan. We will attack in 3 waves. The first wave will... What in blue blazes is everyone doing? Capping the Zeppelin, sir! Why the hell are you doing that? The Zeppelin has enough room for everyone. Yes, sir, but I are to elite pilots and I'm going to use it to drop behind enemy lines and pose our teleobes. But that's a waste of good aircraft. Why would it... Oh, God, no. Bogsworth got the Zeppelin. Whee! Fly in so long, Zacchaeus. What a moron. Never mind, he can respawn himself. Okay, the rest of you, listen up. I want you to all mount up and... What is it now, Jenkins? Sir, the mounts haven't spawned yet. What? Why the bloody hell not? Well, sir, Bogsworth got into one of the horses and drove it into the other and pushed it off a cliff, then ran over half the platoon with it and stuck a goblin sapper charge the last one. Fredrickson was on that horse, sir. Wasn't pretty. Okay, we'll do things the old-fashioned way. Jenkins, assemble the troops. I want a complete class roll call. We're going to need a solid combined armed force for this one. Okay, Sarge. Men, state your classes. Elite Sniper. I at Elite Sniper. Sniper, dude. Sniper 2K. The Sniper. Wait a second. You're not telling me they're all snipers. Where the hell are the mages, the priests, the warlocks? You're not seriously telling me they're all bloody snipers? Yes, sir. Oh, this is hopeless. What if a tank comes rolling over the hill? What are we going to do? Oh, we could snipe it, sir. Why do I even... 2K noob, lols, ha ha ha. The horrible, shocking nightmare that could be the Arathi Basin. Of course, if the Arathi Basin was Battlefield 1942. Anyway, back to the subject at hand. Arathi Basin is a damn good idea. Then again, so are the original Battlegrounds. It's not Blizzard that ruined the original Battlegrounds, it's the people playing it, because they can't and refuse to play it tactically. But is it entirely their fault? Would Alterac Valley be better if they were given the kind of tools that those playing Battlefield 2 have? The commander system, the overview map, for instance. Those who haven't played Battlefield 2, one player acts as the commander. He's a normal foot soldier, but he has access to a satellite map. He can see anything that we can see. People spot the things on the map for him. He has a number of tools at his disposal. A satellite scan, which allows him to see all the enemy units on the map. However, he can only see what appears at that particular moment. So he doesn't get any updates, but he gets a satellite scan. Now, the problem with that one is that you can't show it to the troops. He then gets a UAV, which is an unmanned aerial vehicle. Something along those lines, anyway. And now that's a continuous scan. And that shows up for everyone, but it's got an area of effect, and it only lasts a certain amount of time. He also has the ability to launch artillery and supply drops. Now, he can also order people in squads to different locations. They won't necessarily listen, but the fact is it's better than nothing. If there was a facility for that in Alterac Valley, 1, would it be used? 2, how would it be used? 3, who would be allowed to use it? And 4, would it make a blind bit of bloody difference? All interesting questions that may never be answered. Now, someone suggested something to me that's been playing on my mind for a while. A 4th battleground that actually has a commander system built into it. And as you know, if you listen to Blue Please, I like to go off on fanciful trips of fancy, oddly enough. Fanciful trips of fantasy, where I think of what WoW could be. And I'm thinking a combination between Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft. I'm thinking what Savage and Natural Selection have already done, and that is the Commander RTS-FPS hybrid. It's a difficult genre. Few have attempted it, even few have actually got it right in the first place. But it has been done, and that's the point. Savage, very good example. You have one commander who is capable of building buildings and producing NPC-controlled units in the style of Warcraft 2 and 3. It looks very similar. You have the same kind of bandboxing. You can drag your cursor across the screen, and you will select all the players there. You will then right-click on something, and it's context-sensitive. If you click on an enemy, they will all be ordered to attack it. The enemy will be highlighted on the map. If you want them to mine, you click on a mine. If you want them to repair, you click on a damaged building. If you want them to move, you just do that, blah, blah, blah. Loads of tactical options, and the fact is people follow them because it's in their best interest to. If they are given, they would rather have some direction, especially if it's right on the screen. If they are ordered to do something, they will usually do it, which is cool. So it made me think, how would that apply to World of Warcraft? Could we have a system where someone actually builds a town hall, you know, a village hall, a tree of... Is it a tree of ages? A tree of life is the beginning one for the Night Elves. An Acropolis. That kind of thing. They build it in the style of Warcraft 3 and it appears. It appears on the map. Ooh, materializing stuff. And you build your base. And once your base is built, you engage the other units. You expand, you conquer. How cool would that be? Tell me this, how cool would that be? And you'd have upgrades. You could research upgrades. So say, I research the armor upgrade, all my units, all my players get an extra 50% armor. I could produce NPC units, and I can upgrade them too. So I can produce guards, and I can position them, I can set them on patrol routes, that kind of thing. That would be a hell of a lot of fun. Implausible. So implausible. But it would be so damn good. The problem, of course, is the whole thing about the engine. It's always the engine that causes issues in this case. Can the engine handle a top-down perspective? Can it handle the idea of spawning buildings and units dynamically into the world? It can obviously handle units, because we see that. We raid a town, and units will appear out of thin air. Units can be spawned, that is clear. But can buildings be done? Good question, possibly something we will never know. but it's a damn good idea. It would be pretty damn neat. We are talking really seeing Warcraft 3, the Warcraft universe from the perspective of a hero or a grunt. The real way of doing it. What Warcraft always was. World of Warcraft is really cool, but it never ever recaptures the feeling of Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3. It won't do it. Of course, there are issues to deal with. Luminar says, what if Griefer gets the commander seat? An eviction system, that's simple. You do a vote system and people can vote the commanders out. It could be done on the basis of PvP rank, in the same way that Battlefield 2 is. Battlefield 2, anyone could be the commander, but if a higher level commander applies at the same time, they will get the position. Now, yes, you may say, oh well, they're stupid. These people only know Zerging and honor farming, but still, they do know PvP. So, it's a lot of questions that can be answered, and a lot of ideas that could be put into practice. I would love to see it. I really would love to see it. That is probably the ultimate thing I would like to see in World of Warcraft. A real melding of Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft. I would play it till my eyes bled. I really would. It would be so damn cool. I might do an in-concept thing about that, actually, at some point. If I get the chance, I will put together an in-concept thing, and I, of course, like your help for this. While I'm sure Blizzard have thought of it already, I just like to put it out to the community and see if they enjoy it. So, if anyone has any ideas of that kind of thing, email themurloc@gmail.com, and I'll try and put together some kind of in-concept idea and how it will work in the WoW perspective of things. But anyway, back to the Arathi Basin. What I was pleased about with the Arathi Basin is that they finally put some good caster rewards in. I've been feeling a bit hard done to as a mage recently. Now, Altarat Valley, we all know, has some quality melee kit in it. It really does. There's no two ways about it. It's full of brilliant melee kit. Fantastic stuff. Glacial Blade is just a tiny example. We're talking Unstoppable Force here, the lobotomizer. Unstoppable Force. Nothing more needs to be said about Unstoppable Force. It's on the level of an Arcanite Reaper. And don't bloody argue otherwise, it is. Look at the stats. Obviously, the usual crit build doesn't work quite as well because the skill with the mace proficiency is a stun chance rather than extra crit chance, which is why people go for the whole axe thing. They can get the double crit chance by getting cruelty in the fury talent tree and then heading up on the arms tree and getting axe proficiency. Cunning. Very good way of doing things. However, they didn't give anything for casters, and that annoyed me. They gave us these silly offhand books. Offhand books which are not justifiable. If I get to Exalted, I don't want a book which is only a fractional upgrade on one I've already got. It's a buffed Elemental Ember, for God's sake, the Fire book. That's all it is. The Shadow book speaks for itself. 8 stamina and some shadow power, compared to a replacement for a weapon which costs a ridiculous amount of money to build. Finally, we're getting some exciting stuff. Now, if I remember correctly, we're getting a staff with everything on it. Loads of stuff. Plus 2% spell crit chance, yes. Stamina, yes. Spell power, yes. Plus int, yes. Sorry, but if a staff was orgasmic, I think that would probably reach the required level. It's damn good, and it's about time we got something. It's always concerned me. I've never been a person to whine about classes, but it's been a niggling concern in the back of my mind that melee classes have been getting more and more, and casters have been a bit left out. Especially when you take into account that they're getting more resist gear, and that is causing big problems. Fire mages particularly, because a lot of people are getting the Dark Eye and stuff for MC, and have figured that since fire is an exceedingly damaging thing, they can wear their MC gear
their fire resist gear, and it's like, oh dear, I've just Pyroblast critted you for 150 points. I could have done better with my wand. But the help is at hand. Because some of the new Zul'Gurub stuff, and I believe some of the stuff from the Arathi Basin, has an interesting stat on it that I find originally quite confusing. I looked at it and I thought, okay, what's going on here? The answer came to me. It says, plus 2% chance to hit with a spell. When was the last time you missed with a spell? I certainly don't remember the last time I missed with a spell, because it doesn't happen! They home in, that's the entire point. You don't miss with AoE. Let's be realistic here. So, what could it have mean? Aha. The only thing it could possibly mean, logically, is the only thing that can go wrong with a spell, and that's a resist. That's all you get, a resist. It's either a hit or a resist. You don't get a dodge, a parry, all that kind of thing that you will get with melee. It's a resist or a hit. Hit or resist. So obviously, the only thing that stat could mean is it reduces the resists. About bloody time. More resist gear is coming into the game, and I think that's a positive thing. It should have been there in the first place. I originally considered building thorium armor for my warrior, and I thought, to be honest, the amount of resists I get by the time, I believe you have to be 52 to use all pieces of thorium armor. By the time I get to that level, the amount of resists I get off thorium armor will be totally worthless. So I didn't bother. However, more resist gear is coming into the game. More good resist gear. Resist gear worth using that isn't simply resists, but in fact adds stats as well, and has good armor value. So, what we're having and seeing here is the caster's trump card, if you will, against resist gear. It's an anti-resist, a minus resist stat. Now, it remains to be seen as to just how effective that really is. How effective would it be? Yes, I do have a warrior strife. He's not that high level, but I do have a warrior. I've got a lot of classes, I just don't play them very often. I play mage most of the time. So, it reduces the resist chance. Okay. Counters. Counters, counters, equipment counters. Lions, tigers, bears, oh my. Murlocs. Sorry, got a bit overexcited there. However, the point remains. Counters for counters. I like counters. I really do. It forces you to put some thought into your equipment. I like the way that I have my little Hyper Radiant Flame Deflector. I have a hard counter to someone's fire spell. Someone throws a Pyroblast at me, I turn my Flame Deflector on. Boing! Oh dear, you just ate your own Pyroblast. How incredibly tearful for you. Oh, you're dead. I actually don't care. You're dead. Haha! There you go. But that's a hard counter. More hard counters need to exist. The more counters, the more interesting and in-depth this game comes, yes. I want to see more. I want to see more, Blizzard! You hear me? More and more and more hard counters for this game. Okay, time for another song, and then, of course, the thing that some of you may have been waiting for, and some of you will probably be dreading. It was taken from the Blue Please album, the Murloc versus Total Biscuit rap Battle of Doom. However, I want to play some music to start with. And it's a bit of Rage Against the Machine. Why not? Everybody loves Rage Against the Machine. And if you don't, you're a fool. Absolute fool. This is Calm Like a Bomb. Enjoy.